Hi everyone, welcome back.
So this time what we're going to be doing is building our bulkhead with a little access hatch so we can get into the front if we need to. So we've just been playing around with a few offcuts of wood just to try to figure out exactly how we're going to tackle this. What makes it tricky is the seat. So this seat is now back in its most backward position, and you can see how far it sticks out. To get it actually clear of this area, I've got 3 pieces of wood in there, and that, even then, is only just enough if you're going to build up to actually clear the seat. I mean, the seat also reclines, like you could recline it more than this as well, so, but that at least would allow us to move it back to the final position on the platform there. We don't really want to make it so that if we accidentally push the seat back, it's going to go straight into the wall and knock things down, you know. So yeah, just got to figure out how to actually frame it, how to build it out, and how to carpet it so it all looks nice, and crack on with it. So we decided we're going to use the existing bolt holes as everywhere we can, and actually we've got this shelf, which is really nice and strong, which we're going to turn into like a little larder or something. It's got 6mm holes already pre-threaded in there, so just making a 2x2 piece, 44mm timber, which is going to go in there. The only thing we had to do was taper the end, just like everything in the van. There's no easy straight bits, just to get around these little corners here. Start to come together very slowly. So we've been at it a few hours today. What have we got to show for Abby?
Not a lot.
We've done a lot of thinking.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is have one in the middle going across like that, and then have these two separated so that this will actually rest on here. So that when we're climbing through the hatch, we'll have a long beam going that way that will take our weight. But yeah, I mean, you can just see from the curvature of the van how awkward this is. Finally able to use this contour tool. Yes! There we are. Oh. Oh dear. Okay, let's try again. Okay. There.
So we've been going along trying to figure out how to make our bulkhead join into this corner here, which has got loads of random shapes, and came up with the idea of basically using just a couple of blocks of 44mm timber stuck together with one of them an angle, and that should allow us, if we've measured this properly, to use the existing bolt holes in the van here, bolt that in there, and then screw through from this side into there. So yeah, it's kind of it's a mix and match. Everywhere there's a fixing, we're trying to adapt to work out how we can actually use it to make sure it's nice and secure.
He's found his new favourite place.
I'm not sure that's what we designed it for. It's basking in the sunlight.
See you.
There we go. That took a lot of work to do that. Super strong, super solid, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Now it's just hard to figure out how to do it on this side.
Tricky.
Yeah. So as you can probably hear, it's raining again today, but we've got to get on with this, so let's just see how we're getting on. So, Tim, walk me through it.
Well, we've got this frame done now. This is all glued nice and strong, and now that that's in there, it's allowing us to figure out what the next level is going to be, I guess.
Word of warning to anyone who's going to buy a Transit, the bulkhead is a nightmare. Particularly on this model, I don't know if the others are the same. So this is our first dry fit. Let's hope it goes in properly.
Oh, that's a satisfying little push.
I'm not holding it up. I think we'll add some supporting beams going across these three and these two as well. So yeah.
You can start to actually see it now, can't you?
You can. After all that thinking. We'll have it sort of recessed in here and going up like that. Maybe a couple of little shelves or something there, just to put a little cactus or something.
Decided we're going to use some of the old, I was going to say floor, it's actually the walls, because the wall part that we had is slightly thinner than the floor, so it's quite nice and light, flexible, which will be fine for this because we're just going to screw it down to our frame and then put some carpet over the top. And conveniently we've got this nice big piece and that huge piece over there, or two pieces joined together, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Alright. Finally not going to have giant pieces of plywood sitting in the barn anymore.
Abby had the good idea to draw around the gaps before we started screwing it in. And it fits like a little puzzle. Line up. It's like a little game.
Cool, so as you can see, we've put our plywood on top now, we've screwed it all in, and we've just roughly cut it near to the edge. And we're just going to use a router now to make it so that it's completely flush. But it's the first time either of us have ever used one, so fingers crossed it'll go alright. Here we go. Well, it's probably not great that it fell out, but at least it cut something. So we've decided to use four-way stretch carpet on this side of the bulkhead because that's what you're going to see from the cab side. So it's trying to match the sort of carpet lining that is already in there. We're just using some contact spray on both sides. There's no easy way to put these on. And then all you do really is just hold this part tight up there like that and then just smooth it down. And there you go.
Making it look so easy.
And the nice thing about this is that if you make a mistake, you can just pull it back and then just smooth it back down. See, look, I've got a wrinkle there, so I'll just pull that back up and just smooth it back down. and then it's fixed. So our next job is to make some more chocks to go along the top here, probably about 5 there. And then we're going to frame around from the cab side, just so that it looks all seamless, there's no gaps or anything like that.
Because it sticks out, just trying to make it look seamless on the cab side.
Yeah, and the only other thing is we realised we made our hatch a little bit too high there. We didn't allow for this headliner there, so we're going to add another 2x2 there and carpet that, and then that should look pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's now at the stage where it's like all the fiddly bits. It's really boring. Which I don't want to do any more of it.
So we're just screwing in the spacers we've got, which we actually ended up having to use 3 separate pieces of wood sandwiched together and glued to get the right thickness we need for here. It's really awkward shape. And then obviously the screws we have, the longest one, 60mm screws, aren't actually long enough to get through the block. So we've had to countersink it quite a lot just by drilling a hole in there. But it's going well, it seems to be holding it pretty strong there. And that'll give something to get it gives the right angle to make the bulkhead actually straight, and gives us something to screw in a piece from underneath to the cab side as well. So we thought we'd just add a bit of carpet around the window and down this pillar, just so it neatens it up from the cab side, the little bits of metal we can't get to. It's really nice and forgiving, isn't it? The reason we're putting it on this bit is just because even though it's going to be clad underneath, we're not sure exactly where it's going to come up to, all the lines meeting, so we thought if the carpet's behind it, just look maybe a little bit nicer, but also just breaks the thermal bridge, just stops the cold metal coming through. So haven't got loads of carpet left.
Welcome to the palace.
So we're getting there. The main bit that we've got left to do is this gap we need to fill out, which is tricky because it's not straight anywhere. In fact, it looks like it kind of tapers in and out as it goes up, and we want to build something that will hide this hole here but also hopefully be a usable space. And it's tricky as well because the door handle comes in here and the door stops come in here, so there's not much room to work with. But the first thing we've got to do is try and get this shape transferred onto something so that we can actually cut it out of some wood and just play around really. So just using the trick we saw just to get a pencil and a little round washer, should be able to just run that along and get that angle. Not too bad. So that's the rough outline, so we're going to cut out that and then see how it kind of works. We've had to do it in 4 separate pieces to be able to get around the curvature of this sliding door. This doesn't look like much, but getting that line roughly in the right shape onto that piece of wood has taken a long time. I didn't think we'd be using an iron in our van build.
Probably think we're going bonkers. We're just trying to steam it so that we can bend it to match the curve of the van.
Yeah, this is a bit of an experiment. We don't know if it's going to work, but we're trying to get this piece to bend around this really annoying curve here. So we've left it in a bath overnight, so it's just been soaking in water. Then we've got a rag, an old rag that's saturated with water, wrapped around it. Then around that, some tin foil, and then we're going over it with an iron, and we'll see if it actually works.
I really hope so. So I think we are down to one of our last cuts of this whole construction. I can't tell you how much of a nightmare this has been. It's actually ridiculous. Like, look at it. It's like a weird paddle thing. I'm going to go down the Thames or something.
It does look just like an oar, doesn't it? We've got all of these pieces here. And the only way we could think to join this stuff securely, because it's so thin, was to put a small rabbet on it. It's going to be a little bit tricky to actually glue it, so we've got a massive amount of clamps ready. And kind of assembles with these strange pieces here. Getting those notches out of there, exactly the right spacing to hopefully kind of fit together. Then when we put it back in there, fingers crossed, it will kind of work. We'll see.
So it's now the moment of truth. Take the clamps off and see if it's held.
Come on.
Okay.
This curvy bit is still held, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. It's looking good so far. Keep the angle. Right. I think we're okay. The crucial moment will be when we actually bolt it in, because that will be when it gets warped and twisted. So we'll see. There we go. I think we'll get it to work.
It's not bad.
It should be alright.
This little corner has caused us so much grief.
I'm so tired of this now.
We almost got to the point, didn't we, where we were thinking, when we just get a piece of carpet and just drape it down there, just stick it to both sides, would have been a lot easier. Just using up some of our scraps of insulation board to fill the gaps, and it's so much easier than when we did the insulation for the rest of the van, because it's all nice and square. Snaps off pretty easily. Yeah, it's a little bit of a jigsaw using up the pieces, but it's quite satisfying as well.
Nice.
And then we've just put on the top the sticky back foily insulation there as well.
We've got all our pieces ready to be screwed in now. So obviously we've got the main bulkhead over here, and then we've got the corner piece which is going to go in there, which we've been working on for ages. This piece is going to be against that back wall over there, and then this piece runs along the top.
Quite funky looking piece, this one, isn't it?
Very bendy.
A fun part.
Yes, finally.
It's only very slightly screwed in, and
Yeah.
it's feeling pretty solid already.
Yeah. It does help that there's a clamp on it. Yeah.
basically. And
Oh. So, now that that's all screwed in, that's great. We've just made these boxes just to sit next to each other against the bulkhead. One under the passenger seat and one under the driver's seat. And then this in the middle sits between the seats, and we've just made a little bin.
I think it's probably the world's most decorative bin.
So this is our little bin, just sliding down there into place. This little box just here. Tim's just been a little bit fussy and he didn't want that bit of vinyl showing from the cab, so just made these little inserts just to sit there, and then it's all grey.
The last piece is in. It's
I
looking
think
good though, isn't it?
yeah,
Nice
I
and
think
seamless all the way around.
it does look really good.
So, if we've done this correctly, it should have just enough space to get the seat back. So we measured it, so it should go into the full back position, which it does, which is pretty good. And just enough space for the bin there. And so this box, I can just about get my hand round into there. And then these two, so we can keep a few tools in there or something like that. Who knows? Overflow from the cupboard. I'm sure we'll find a use for them. So I guess the last thing to do is to check if we can actually get through the hatch after all that.
What are you going to do, head first, legs first?
I think legs first.
Oh,
It's a tight squeeze, but you can just about do it.
that's not too bad.
That's not too bad, is
In
it?
an emergency, can you use that? Awesome.
I think that's it, right?
Finally.
It's probably been the longest project we've attempted so far, and we thought it was going to be one of the quicker ones, I think.
Yeah, we did. Really looking forward to moving on to the next project now. So, yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give us a like and subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see ya.